Hey guys, how's it going? This is Medina again doing part number 2 of the tutorial series on Green Arrow. And I'm going to focus on just combos, basic to intermediate combos, and then some just basic strategy on Arrow. I'm going to go somewhat deep sometimes not really. I'm going to have more videos just going deeper later on. But let's start off with some pretty easy bread and butters. I'm going to be talking in numbers. No, it's not binary. Just look down in the description box to see what those numbers mean. It's just a universal way of speaking. It's what we do. So follow along. Alright, say you don't have a nice arrow, and you know there's certain combos that you just cannot do because you don't have a nice arrow. That's okay. There's some bread and butters I call that you can do without one. And this is the first one. This is off the 1-1-3 string, which is this one right here. This one is kind of hard. Sometimes it's good as a punisher, and you don't have an arrow. It's a good idea just do this so that way you can kind of get some damage down. But it does hit high, so if your opponent's crouching, it will whiff. So just be aware of that. And it's gonna be 1-1-3, jump into 2-2-3, and load an arrow. That's kind of confusing, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So here it is. And load an arrow. There's two things that I did right there that I kind of have to clarify real quick. I ended the combo, instead of doing a slide or a hurricane bow, I ended it with loading an arrow. That's just so I don't have to waste time or do something unsafe by loading an arrow. I'm preparing myself for the next time I do get a combo to hit, and so I loaded it with ice arrow. You can load it with whatever arrow you want, but it's just a good idea sometimes to end your combos early and just load an arrow. And then I ended it with 2-2-3, which is this string right here. And the reason I did that is because if you saw earlier, a 2-2-3 is an untechable knockdown, which means you can't roll away. And also, the timing is a little bit different on it for wake-ups, so it's good to use to kind of pressure your opponent because they're going to be trying to wake up, and since the timing is really kind of different and more strict, it's going to be harder for them. So that's a good thing to use that as well to end your combos with. This next combo is going to be kind of it's going to be off of a back 3. Back 3 is this launcher right here. Sometimes it's pretty slow, so it's hard to get it in, but that's what she said. But if you use meter burn back 3, like for jump-ins and stuff like that, I just went into this on accident. If you do meter burn back 3 for whatever reason, say on to stuff someone's wake up, or someone's jumping in on you, you want to do meter burn back 3, this is a good way to use it. So I'm going to show you what that combo looks like right now. So it's gonna be back 3, jump in 3, 2-2-3, load arrow. And there it is, 28%. It's really easy to do also. And if you want to get just a little bit more damage, you can do a jump in 2 after the jump in 3, and you can get like 2% more. And I'll show you what I mean by that right now. So there's that combo, and it does 32%. That's actually 4% more. So I think it's worth it to get that jump in 2 in there. The timing's a little bit more strict, it's a little bit more harder to do, but it's something, if you're going to be picking up Green Arrow and you're going to be a tournament player, or if you're going to be kind of serious about him, that's something you might want to do. Although it's pretty hard to hit it online, so unless you got really good internet, I don't know, it might be not a good idea to use that. Another thing you can also do, it's you can dash in, do a 3, and then you can do a up arrow and continue the combo that way. So this one will be back 3, dash forward, 3, up arrow, then 2-2-3, load. So it'll look something like this. Oops. Let me just go back to mid-screen. There you go. And it's 30%. So again, it's really good. You can also get 2 up arrows in that combo, but that's kind of harder to do and a little bit more impractical unless you're playing in an offline setting. You can also, that's if you want to cross the person over. And by the way, real quick, let me just talk about this. When you do the dash in 3, you gotta do the input for the up arrow in the opposite direction. Normally it's down back 1 to get that up arrow to come out, but since the opponent technically crossed you over, you got to do it in the other direction. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you start doing the combo, you'll understand what I mean. And then instead of crossing him up, you can just instead of doing the 3 crossover, you can kind of just in his face do an up arrow. So this is what it looks like. So back 3, then up arrow. Oops. Back 3, up arrow, 2, 2, 3. So it looks like this. Oops. That one was 26%. That's because all my arrows didn't actually hit that time. But you can get a little bit more damage. I think it's around 31% you can do if you do that properly. And again, these things just kind of take time to kind of learn. But why would you want to do the up arrow combo? The reason is doing up arrow builds meter. So if you really want to build meter quicker, you can do these bread and butters where you're using your specials, and you can build meter during your combos, which is a good thing to do. So that's kind of why I would use them in combos. And that's his basic, easy bread and butters mid-screen without an arrow already loaded. So let's get into some more kind of advanced ones with a arrow already loaded. So this would be using my favorite string, which is forward 2, down 1, 3, into an ice arrow. Then pretty much the same combo I showed you in the beginning, and it'll look like this. And that's 31% damage. Again, it's obviously not more damage than like the first, combo, but the thing is, you're starting it off with the forward 2, down 1, 3 string as opposed to just back 3. Again, back 3 is kind of harder to get in most practicalities. This is more of a punish, so getting a 30% punish with green arrow at least is pretty darn good. And again, you could just kind of mix and match from everything that you saw me do earlier. Now let me talk about an easy bread and butter to do with his electric arrow. So this one's going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to be 1, 1, 3, electric arrow, then back 3, jump into 2, 2, 3, load arrow. I know it's a lot of words, but just bear with me here. So here it is. And there it is, 32% damage. Again, nice damage. And I ended it with a ice arrow load. You can end it with pretty much any load you want. I prefer either ice or electric. Electric's really good for pressure. I'll have another pressure video later on, kind of explaining different options for that. For fire arrows, he really doesn't have any mid-screen practical fire arrow combos. There's some that are really hard to get. I'm not going to get into those right now. But let's go to some corner juggles and see what we can do in the corner. This first corner juggle, this is again without any arrows loaded. It's going to be, forward 2, down 1, 3, then back 2, 3, up arrow, 1, 1, 1, load. Or if you're able to, get 2, 2, 3, load again because of the hard knockdown. So here it is. And there it is right there for 34% damage, which all things considered is pretty darn good in the corner, especially for Green Arrow because he doesn't do a lot of damage. And see, now I have an ice arrow loaded. What will an ice arrow combo look like? And this one's kind of the same principle, but it'll be a little bit different. So it'll be forward 2, down 1, 3, then back 2, 3, up arrow, then 1, 1, 1, low arrow. You gotta make sure the arrow hits low, and then neutral jump, back 2, 3, load an arrow. I know it's a lot to take in, but just watch. And there it is right there for 42% damage, which is pretty good in the corner for him. And again, if you remember me talking in the previous video about his different strings, back 2, 3 is a really good string to use because it hits overhead really fast, and most people were going to crouch low against Green Arrow first. So this is a really fast overhead, and then it's also a boot to the stomach, and you can also get an ice arrow in the corner with this. So this combo right here is also pretty good to do. It's back 2, 3, low ice arrow, and then you're gonna neutral jump punch, then forward 2, down 1, 3, then 1, 1, 1, up arrow, and then 2, 2, 3, load arrow. So this will look like.
This one's for you.
Oops. And there it is right there for 42% damage, which is pretty nice. I ended it in that one with 1, 1, 1. 1-1-1 or 2-2-3 are fine. 2-2-3 is a little bit better. I just wasn't thinking straight there. But that's kind of, they both do the same amount of damage. That's kind of what you want to end your combos with, and that's good for his corner game. He has a lot of corner options with combos. With Fire Arrow, you can actually do a back to low Fire Arrow. Again, this is a overhead low mix-up, which is really good. So overhead low, and then you can also get a little bit more damage with the 1-1-1 up arrow, then 2-2-3 into load. So this is what this will look like. There it is right there for 37% damage, which again is pretty hefty. And let's do some electric arrow combos. Again, there's just so many possibilities that you could do. This one's forward 2 down 1 3 into electric arrow. Then you gotta wait a split second, then do 1-1-1 up arrow, 2-2-3 load. So this is what it looks like. And there it is for 37% damage again. I keep ending my combos in 1-1-1 when it should be 2-2-3, so don't do that. And that's pretty good, or that's pretty much it for his, basic corner bread and butters. They're even if they look complicated and hard to do, just practice them for like an hour. They're really not that bad once you start getting the hang of them. You're gonna find that they're really easy, and I guess if they're too difficult, you can find really easy things to do, like 1-1 into 1-1-1 up arrow, 1-1-1 load. So something like this. Just play around with it. It's really not that hard. Look at Chris G corner combos; they're pretty easy to do also. And those are his basic B&Bs for him in the corner. And that's pretty much all I have for corner or for combos. Your basic bread and butter and stuff like that. But let's talk a little bit about his pressure game. You know what? Actually, I'll make that a separate video. This was his basic combos, and that's all I have right now. Now you know kind of combos. Now you know what he can really do in terms of damage. Now what does he do in terms of actually playing the game? What does he do against different characters? Like, how should he be used? And I'll explain that in the next video. This has been it. This has been real. I'm Medina, and I'm out.